Good day and welcome to our Abba's House Nugget. Thank you for joining us again. I pray that these continue to be a blessing to you, small bite-sized words of inspiration to get you through your day. So, like, share, subscribe, put on your post notifications so that we can continue to be a blessing to you. We're in Esther chapter 3 and we're going from about verse 6 all the way down to the end of the chapter. And my key thought for you today is to be careful who you promote, one, who you give your full confidence and authority to, and who you sit and have drinks with, right? So we're here at the end of the story, not the end of story, but the end of chapter 3, and we see Haman, the man who's being promoted, convinced by his friends that Mordecai is doing wrong and he needs to test whether Mordecai has a right to do this or not. And then he fabricates a story for the demise of the Israelites. What I want to point out is the way the king puts his full confidence into this man and the way that this individual undermines the trust of the king for his own personal intentions. We have to be careful of the people that we promote into the positions of our lives who will have our ear. I've spoken about this before, especially in relation to our friends, but here we are seeing someone in authority. If you are a leader, someone who is in influence, you need to be careful who your advisors are. All we know about Haman at the beginning of this story is who he is and where he comes from. And that tells us that he is an enemy to the Jews. And then we see he fabricates a story for the king about the Jews, and we realize that this story is for his own personal intentions, and it could have been even to the detriment of his kingdom, because we see when the decree went out how confused the people in this city were, because it could be clear to see that the Jews in that time were not a bother to anyone. But yet, because this man had the ear of the king, he was able to manipulate the king. Here's what is going on in this story. This king was known to not be light on any type of insurrection in his kingdom. History tells us about King Xerxes or King Ahasuerus that there were the Egyptians that rose up against him and he squashed them. So Haman's suggestion to destroy the Jews was not beneath his thought process, and Haman knew this. He was using what he knew about the king. Be careful who you has your ear, because they can use what they know about you to influence the things that you do in a negative way. He even went as far as to try to bribe the king, telling the king, some accounts say that the equivalence of what is used in the Bible is close to like $3 million, 2/3 of what would be in the usual budget, the royal budget. So first, he tries to manipulate him based on knowing him. Then he tries to use money. You're seeing the type of manipulation that this man uses, because he knows, hey, this king loves his money. I'm trying to paint the picture how important it is as leaders to be careful of who you promote and let close to you, and be advisors and the persons that are in your ear, and the persons, second of all, that you give authority, because of the confidence the king had in Haman, he gave him his ring. There are a few things. He didn't even ask him who these people were. He didn't ask him specifically what it is that they are doing wrong in the kingdom. He had such confidence in Haman that he just gave him the authority. That's the next part. You got to be careful of who. This is your John Hancock, person signing on your behalf, your power of attorney. You have to be careful who you place. And this is a lesson on leadership, on how you manage your authority. And then we see Haman go out and do a decree to destroy everyone. The whole of his kingdom is confused, like what's going on here? But then the story ends with Haman and the king sitting, pleased with themselves, having drinks. That shows you that depending on who you let into your ear, you can be convinced that you are doing the right thing, and you can be sitting pleased when you're actually, in fact, doing the wrong thing. So I hope that I've built my case for you today that you need to be careful as to who you let in your ear, who you give authority, and who you sit and have drinks with. Go do, go give, be blessed. I encourage you, please join us tomorrow, Saturday. We're going to be at Abba's house at 3 p.m. Join us live at Abba's house, axa.online.church. We'd love for you to join us as we discuss the topic, greater works. God bless you. Once again, go do, go give, be blessed.